Welcome back to Practical and Positive Leadership. I'm May-Dunn, CEO of Arizona Escrow and Financial. And each month we bring you actionable insights from leaders who've been right where you are. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, follow, and check out our past episodes for can't-miss leadership insights from top professionals. Today, I'm excited to welcome Merl Martin, the founder and CEO of Bennu Systems. Merl has a unique leadership background that blends education, athletics, and technology leadership, and he helps organizations simplify operations, integrate systems, and leverage technology so their teams can focus on what really matters. Merl, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Monica. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about Bennu Systems and what you do there?
Thank you. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Bennu Systems. We help other companies find the best way to utilize technology to make them better and more efficient. Sometimes it's helping them find the right software, teaching them how to use AI, or helping them automate these very tedious manual tasks and integrate systems that don't talk to each other. The reason why we called ourselves Bennu Systems is because it's the original version of the Phoenix mythology, right? A rebirth. And that's how we view ourselves. My co-founder and I were software craftsmen. So we take these very old traditions and disciplines and mix them with this new, incredibly powerful technology and combine it. And we feel that's how our clients will also feel once they've worked with us as well.
And I think that's great because having software be able to communicate is really making things more efficient. And the brains behind that is not me. So that's why we leave it up to you guys. Merl, before we dive into our conversation today, I want to start with something exciting and congratulations. I understand you recently took the stage at the Small Business Academy Venture Challenge, the SRP, and the Edison and Entrepreneur Institute at ASU. And you walked away with a $3,000 award?
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
It was great. It was exhilarating. Again, it felt like being in a classroom again, except instead of students, now it was my peers, mentors, speakers. Some friends and family came. My brother came from Yuma, actually, just for that night. It was a wonderful experience to be able to talk about us. But outside of the money, which of course is nice, I would say the biggest value that we took from that was, one, it was a small business academy. So they're just teaching us a lot of very vital, fundamental things that some people miss, right? And we were able to take that, put it into our organization, utilize it in real time, as well as all the amazing people. Yeah, we saw each other there one time, right? All the other connections and the great cohort there. So along with the money, I would say the real value was the knowledge base and, again, those connections with others.
Yes. I went to 2 sessions. I missed the rest because of my schedule, but I felt like it was incredibly organized.
Yeah.
And the speakers and everything that they're teaching small business. And I think that, they're going to be continuing this program. And I recommend every small business owner or someone who's going to start a new business, they should really go to that.
It was incredibly well run. And not just that, they provided food, which was
And the best part, it was
delicious.
Free.
Yeah, it was free.
What was the moment like when you won, especially since it was your first time pitching?
Yeah, it was, again, first time doing that in front of others. It was great. It was surreal, right? Several different people told me as I was going up, just, hey, enjoy the moment, right? You're there to have fun. Yeah. And sometimes, the nervousness might creep up a little bit. But it's true. Just, again, a lot of people being there, supporting you. Everyone wants you to win. And so it's just nice having that support.
How many groups were there that got up?
There was 5 total
That's great.
presenters.
Because I know they went through you have to apply
to
do the pitch.
Yeah.
And they went through all the applications. There was a lot of people.
Right, yeah.
And so that is incredible that you were one of the 5 and that you won.
Yeah, it was a great time. I'm very happy. Now I'm addicted. I got to do the next one.
Oh, he's addicted. That's such a great experience. I love that perspective. And it comes from learning, right?
Yeah, of course.
Merl, you've shared that your leadership style is heavily influenced by your background as a teacher and basketball coach. How did those experiences shape the way you lead teams and businesses today?
Okay, Monica, let me put you in a particular situation. Say you're a player and it's towards the end of the game. The game is close, you're exhausted, you're emotionally drained. How would you not want your leader to behave?
Yeah. Oh, I would not want them to be freaking out, because if you see them freaking out, then you get all stressed out and then nobody's concentrating on the game.
It's an emotional contagion.
Yeah.
Right? That's unsettling behavior will drift towards everyone, and then you won't play your best and you're going to lose the game.
Mm-hmm.
So within that 1 hour of basketball, I think it's a great analogy for a quarter or a fiscal year of business, or even life in general. As a leader, you need to maintain your frame. You need to be steady when the going gets rough, or when things are going too well or poorly. I would say in the teaching aspect of it, something else that I learned was that you can't force someone to grow.
Good
right?
point.
As much as you want to try, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I view it kind of like being a gardener. You can't yell at a seed to sprout, but what you can do is put it in a place where it can get sunlight, water, nutrients, remove the bugs. But the growing is up to them. And so that's what you can do, provide that support system to allow them to thrive.
I do love that as a plant analogy. And you can give them the tools or feed them, and depending on how they take that information, and yeah, that's incredible. What's the biggest difference between a manager and a true leader of a team?
I would go back to that plant analogy. As just a leader, outside of providing that support, you're there to create a goal as well, a unified goal for the team, for the plants, for your business, and allowing that support to be able to help them go in the way that they need to. Whereas I guess I would view a manager as someone just potentially shouting out orders.
Yes, and not a good manager. A manager manages work, but a leader develops people. How do you invest in people?
Oh, that's a great question. In terms of, I just love analogies, and going back to that plant, removing these obstacles in their way. So many times in business, we have these very talented individuals that we pay a premium for. And a lot of their time might be spent doing tedious manual data entry, or making them be a copy and paste machine, moving information from one place to another. So removing those obstacles of theirs that they don't like doing, and helping them do what they actually want to do.
And you create those systems that communicate between those.
Yes, of course.
One of the biggest conversations in business right now is the rapid growth of AI and new technology. Many leaders are excited, but also overwhelmed, me included. You work closely with companies on these technologies and system integration. Can you tell us a little bit about how you support them, and how it's not replacing people, it's supporting their team?
Great question. And I think you worded it perfectly, because it's about supporting people, not replacing them. Sadly, there are many leaders or CEOs out there that are looking to replace human capital. But I don't think that's the way that we should look at it. We should look at it in a form of amplification, and/or an exoskeleton, something to strap onto an individual to make them more powerful. Again, those tedious little heavy things are gone because you're being helped with that. But along with that exoskeleton, who's in charge if there's an exoskeleton around a human?
Right.
It's the person still, right? It's not letting that machine take over. The human is the person in charge, but they're just amplified in their ability and strength. And just think about this. Yeah, if we replace people, what are you replacing? You're replacing culture. You're replacing business knowledge. And a machine's not going to know that context. Maybe you could try to feed it in, but they're not going to know how one of your clients likes to be chatted with.
Exactly.
Right? So again, it's surrounding the human to help amplify their ability, as opposed to getting rid of them.
And I think and bringing back the efficiency part of it on those tedious things that they really don't like doing, but they know they have to do it. And it's getting through those. And it's actually, they're learning and they're actually, they're more productive. I know that. They're learning. And I think that overall, if you can keep communicating with, which I am doing, with the team, that you're bringing these things in to make things more efficient so we're growing and do more business more efficiently. And what about the critical thinking part of it? Because AI doesn't have that piece. You need that human to have that critical thinking. And that's one of the things I've discovered. Can you train AI to do critical thinking?
I would say, going back to what you're talking about, the team being just drowned by those tedious tasks, one, that creates burnout on their end. And they might go to another company that might offer better tools to allow them to focus on what they want. And again, you're burning capital, wasting it on their time where their time could be spent better doing something else. And when it comes to critical thinking, I would say people to utilize AI incorrectly. Most of the time we use it as a search engine, as a replacement for Google, or as a better way to write emails. But there are definitely very strategic ways to utilize it to help amplify your thinking as well. So instead of just throwing a prompt at the AI and hoping for a response, you can utilize it in this way. So ask it to create another prompt. So say you're a plumber, right? And costs are going up. There's inventory's changing, and or you have a vendor that you have this problem with. Instead of saying, how can you solve this problem? Say, can you help me write a new prompt for another conversation where you can be a strategic CFO, utilize that, and provide all the context that you need to about the problem. And then at the end, give it instructions to ask you important strategic questions so that you can brainstorm as well, and it can have even more context that you may not have thought to place in there. Get whatever it spits out, put in that next conversation, and then brainstorm.
And then you just build on that.
Yeah.
And I just learned about this just recently in the AI-Driven Leader book. So I had no idea about the different prompts and then how you can build on. I've just been using AI basic stuff. But now that I'm bringing in the software that will communicate two things together, I've discovered now that we can give it those prompts. And yeah, there's so much to learn. And that's why it's overwhelming as myself. That's why people you can explain it a whole lot easier.
Yeah, and that's the tip of the iceberg with what you can do. But that's a very useful tip that would be helpful for others just starting off that may not have done that before.
And the prompts that you tell it to ask you 10 or 15 questions is that.
It's vital. It's important. And again, sometimes you already have the answer. Most of the time you already have the answer. You just didn't have the question to unlock it.
Yeah, that's incredible. What are some of the most common misconceptions businesses have about automation and AI?
I would say that it's a magic solution that is right all the time. Like I mentioned, some people just use it as a search engine to get the answer, and then that's it.
Yeah.
You got to realize AI can hallucinate. It can provide wrong structure. When I told you about prompting it to be like a CFO that's specific in plumbing, that does a very good job in its internal network where it eliminates a lot of the training data that it can pull from. So that's why that can pull from a better wealth of knowledge than if you just asked it the question outright. So that's why it's important to do that as well. So just realizing that it's fallible. The way that I would view it is kind of like a campfire, right? If you don't feed it enough, it's not going to be very useful. It's not going to provide enough warmth. You can't cook. However, if you feed it too much, then that wildfire could spread and you can burn down the whole forest. So you just got to find the right balance between feeding it what you need to and not providing sensitive information about your business.
Not too much.
Yeah.
Plus, you have to really go back and verify a lot of the information.
Of course.
It does pull in some things that may not even be relevant. I have discovered that.
Yeah.
So you still need that person to review
of course, yeah.
and check. As businesses grow, what's one thing that's worked smoothly that you could start to break down, especially when processes and software systems don't connect well?
One of the biggest things that I see is antiquated software. antiquated software that needs to be redone. Think of a crab molting its shell and getting a new one, or a snake shedding its skin. If you want to scale, you need to grow. You need something new. What worked at $500,000 in revenue isn't going to work at $5 million. So a lot of times that comes with replacing your old software, or coming up with new operational techniques that are relevant to yourself now, or even coming up with custom software solutions. Another obstacle that I see a lot of people do is rely too much on Excel or spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are a powerful tool. They're very fundamental. They're incredibly helpful, especially when you're starting off. However, as you're scaling, making impressive revenue, if you're overbearing a lot of your business logic on spreadsheets, that's just a fail point that could be catastrophic, like building a skyscraper on toothpicks, potentially. Just a little gust of wind and it topples.
I mean, Excel's great, but yeah, you're right. The software solutions are much better. And investing in those software. I know we just replaced our loan servicing software last year. And I went through almost 3 years looking at different software and testing them out and going, nope, and then moving on to the next one. And you just have to know what to look for. And it's an investment. It's not something that you can do every day. I mean, it's definitely an investment.
That is a perfect example.
Yeah. And I'm a leader that's always learning, and I'm always wanting to not. Our founder was very into technology, and he always wanted to have the best technology. And he taught me that you have to stay one step ahead of thinking the future to be able to bring in those things if you want to stay relevant.
And you're very relevant. So you're doing a good job.
Thank you, Merl. He was a very good mentor for me. What are the warning signs that manual processes or disconnected systems are starting to harm the business rather than helping?
This would be touching on a lot of the points that we talked about before. Again, when you're very impressive, skilled people are taking too much time out of their workday working on these things that they don't care about. And it's taking them away from what they do care about. I would say that's one of the major ones. And going back to it, that Excel, a powerful tool, fundamental tool, but you got to be cautious on relying too much on it as you scale.
And there is an AI platform that is like Excel, correct? Like a spreadsheet?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know of every software that exists, but I'm sure there are very useful tools that can be similar. Or again, you can connect different systems to avoid that altogether, so you don't have to move from one area to another. Like you were saying, it took you 3 years to be able to move on or to choose the right solution. Sometimes that's what it takes, is that research to be able to figure out what you need for your business specifically.
And as far as like the Excel, when the formula gets broken, the entire spreadsheet breaks down.
Yeah.
It's a domino effect.
Or the one person that knows how to work all the macros gets sick or they leave. What are you going to do?
You're stuck. Yeah, that's not a good thing. Looking back on your career, from teaching and coaching to leading technology companies, what leadership lesson has been the biggest impact on your success?
I would say there are two. One is being able to listen and adapt. Sometimes you have this incredible plan that on paper just looks beautiful. However, in execution, it's not the solution. It's not working. Your people don't fit into those neat boxes that you thought they did. And so you got to adjust. You got to focus on their strengths to allow them to grow. And the other part is letting go of certain operations. Again, going back to teaching. Sometimes I would think I would have this incredible lesson where I explained everything perfectly. However, some students wouldn't be able to pick it up. And so over time, over years, I learned, okay, well, what if I teach the lesson, take a step aside, have them work on a problem, but together in groups, so that they can work the problem themselves and be able to communicate on their level so that they can learn in that way. So
they may be afraid to speak up and be the only one that didn't get it.
Exactly.
And in that small group setting, they can talk about it with
Right. Or they're more in the weeds, so they understand how they view the problem and be able to talk to their level so that they can understand, again, be unified towards the same goal and move forward. So I would say listening, adapting, and then letting go of control a little bit.
Yeah. The listening part is, I think, very critical and I know with my team, when I see them in their little huddle talking about issues, then I feel it's a good feeling, because then I know that they're communicating with each other, and I really like that. That's like, it just makes me smile.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're working together. It makes the whole day go by smoother. And I think our customers, they know and they can feel that when they come in and they see that any of the escrow officers or any of us can help them. And then they don't feel like you only can see that one person. I think that's big.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, when it comes to humans, we think our biggest strength is intelligence. And it's definitely up there. If it isn't the thing, it's absolutely up there. But one of the things that we often forget is our strength is our ability to connect with others in our relationships. And no person is an island. So as brilliant or as skilled as they are, they can't do it alone. It's when you're unified together that's when you can strive towards that goal.
Yeah, I love that. That's perfect. Before we wrap up, we'd always like to leave our audience with some practical takeaways. AI is a topic that's on everyone's mind now. So what's one simple thing a small business can do this week that would genuinely help their business?
A lot of businesses and or leaders use it as an advanced Google, or even just a way to write faster emails. But there's a lot more to be unlocked from there. A lot of people, again, they prompt it, they get the answer, and then that's it. I would say use it to prompt itself or another conversation. So outside of putting in the context, again, say you're a plumbing company, right? And you have trouble financially in this very specific case. Instead of just throwing in that context and expecting an answer, tell it that it needs to write a prompt for another conversation with itself, where you can throw in your context, throw in that it needs to behave like an expert in that specific field, and also allow it to ask you questions so that you can understand the situation better yourself. Because a lot of times you already have the answers, you just don't think about it. So take what it gives you, that prompt that it gives you for another conversation, place it in that conversation, have it interview you, and then from then, that's just another powerful step forward.
And then it builds with all those prompts and the questions.
Yeah, and has that powerful ability.
It's incredible. Merl, thank you so much for joining us today. If our listeners want to learn more about you and Bennu Systems, where is the best place for them to connect with you?
So they can find me on LinkedIn, right? Merl Martin, MERL, and BennuSystems.com. That's where you can find us, BENNU.
And to our listeners, if you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback helps us bring you more practical insights into real-world leadership. Until next time, stay practical and stay positive, and keep leading with purpose. If you've enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe and click on the bell to be notified every month when a new episode is posted. Then leave a comment on what resonated with you the most, and watch another one of our practical and positive videos.